we talk about that?
You want to talk about my hair?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So Brayden needed a haircut before the shutdown. Hello!
Right.
And now he's really going to need a haircut. I told him that he could have a ponytail, but I won't do that to him now. By the time we were done.
I don't think that's
Have you guys seen that meme that's like, by the end of the quarantine, this is what I'm going to look like nails are going to be grown out, hair's going to be too long.
Oh, my hair's solid.
So what's up, you guys? It is super late. Hi, Christine. It has been a crazy day for us, but good. So, I just got a text that said, Frank's lovely. It meant to say thank you. Wow. Okay, you guys, seriously.
Stop touching stuff.
All right. So, yep, it has been one of those days. All right, guys. So, we're kind of a disaster over here. We're not. So we want to talk to you guys. We have a ton of questions. We released the kids program today. So we got a lot of questions of like, what all do you guys have going on? What are you doing? So we just actually want to talk to you guys about what we're offering, why we're doing it. My phone's gonna die. And how we want to help you guys through this. So if you are in Colorado, we are in official lockdown tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yay! That's not gonna change.
You're not watching us from a liquor store because apparently lines are out the door right now.
Actually, just saw they amended that to you can still go to the liquor store with limited amount of people in space.
Oh, good.
I think they might think that's for sanity. So we've got better ideas than drinking to keep your sanity during this. So if you guys have been watching, we've been coming at you guys with just tons of information on how to survive the quarantine, how to stay healthy, what you actually need to do to make this work, and how we can actually look at this in our favor. So we have 2 programs right now that are launching, that have launched, etc. One for kids and one for you as adults. We are not on lockdown yet. Well, I think it's coming. It's coming. It's all coming, right? We're all going to be on lockdown. All right, so which one do you want to talk about?
Well, I think before we get into that, I think it's important for those that don't know us very well to kind of give a little backstory on just us. So, for some of you guys, you might know us from the CrossFit space, from the fitness space, sports, whatever you want, and whatever that space, health and wellness, right? And so for the longest time, you guys, we went by the notion of, as long as we improve your performance, you get your nutrition in line and get healthy habits dialed in, you're going to see the changes in your life, right? Like for us, exercise, health, wellness, they're all very metaphorical type of things to us, right? Like I know typically if you put forth good actions and good habits in that arena, typically it falls over into the other, right? Like, so we thought, right? And so, long story, I'm not going to get into all of it, but, a couple of years ago, our building got bought or got sold to a large industrial commercial investment company that was going to eventually try to sell our building. And so the bad ownership on our part, as far as being wet behind the ear, owners and not doing our due diligence and making sure that we had all our paperwork in line, and basically finding out that we were on a month-to-month lease, and within 30 days of that agreement we were going to have our rent increased by 300%. All right, so wrap that around your head of just like, hey, by the way, we can tell you to leave at any point and your rent has gone up 300% from what it was last month. So
it's kind of like the government saying, hey, your gym's closing tomorrow at 2. It's pretty similar to that, actually.
So, at that point, we were in a very good point. We had a very honest, successful business at that point. Everything we did was word of mouth. Those that came into our doors were thriving as far as, seeing the things that they were walking in the door for. We had a great community. We had great results coming through. But we weren't, when your rent gets up 300% overnight and all of a sudden you got to do what you got to do, we ended up turning to a lot of what you probably see as the norm as far as what is being advertised nowadays as, 6-week challenges, 42-day challenges, body fat, whatever. So for our big thing for a long time, we were never a weight loss gym. We were always, as long as you improve your healthy habits and you improve your performance, i.e. your fitness, I guarantee your aesthetic changes are going to come along with that as well. And so what we did for a duration on there was turn to the challenge mentality. And that, I'll be honest, we hired a company. They did a great job of helping us with that. They essentially saved our business. And for the thought process going into that is, okay, if first off, it gets people that would probably never enter our doors come through and get the experience of what what we have to offer of the normal person that we typically see. And so the challenge was that within 6-week time frame, you have to lose either 25 pounds or 6% body fat. And if you do so, you essentially put down a deposit. And if you get that markers, you get your deposit back. Now, our thought process was on that, and kind of common knowledge would be, okay, if you've been doing all these things underneath the sun for the last 30 years of your life, you're super unhappy, you're overweight, you're super conscientious about you going out in public, and then all of a sudden, 42 days later, you lose 25 pounds or 6% body fat, you're probably going to end up staying with the regimen that you're doing because, i.e., that's going to elicit happiness, right?
Well, you got the result that you thought you wanted, so you would assume you'd keep doing what you were doing.
Yes.
Was our assumption.
And that was our assumption. That would be common knowledge for like, well, yeah, that would make sense. You all of a sudden are doing things that you never thought were, or you're getting results that you never thought were possible. And after about 150 of these, and I mean people losing 20, 25, 30, upwards of 35, almost 40 pounds in 6 weeks, losing upwards of almost 9% body fat, all of a sudden going down, 4 dress sizes in a matter of 6 weeks, the results didn't hit. And so we would literally...
Outwardly it worked, right?
Yeah, outwardly it worked. Like people got amazing results, things they never even thought were possible. Honestly, things that we even never thought were possible, honestly, for a lot of it, of wow, I can't believe people are actually hitting the results that they're hitting because, you know what, I will say we are very good at what we do. But at the same time, I didn't think like going through the regimen of putting through somebody in 42 days and all of a sudden losing almost 40 pounds, like that's a massive drop in 42 days. But what we saw on there was that didn't change the inside feeling. That didn't change what was happening internally. And literally, we'd had the conversation with several people of taking their before and after of them losing 25 to 30 pounds and them literally not being able to see the difference between the two pictures because of what they envisioned inside was... It didn't matter what the external of what they were seeing because the vision they had inside themselves was still the unhappy, the toxic, the just bad vision that they had within themselves. And so for us, we realized at that point, there has to be a different way of going about doing this.
So let's back up for a second. So in the midst of all of this, you guys will back up because this was a big part of it. So I had body image issues. I had eating disorders for 25 years, right? And I had masked it with enough exercise and all the things and thought everything was good. And as I got back into that role where we were talking about weight loss, like when we started CrossFit, I got much better per se. But when we started doing weight loss all the time, I realized I was falling back into that, right? And I was searching for, can I have the perfect 6-pack? It's never good enough. I was getting closer and closer to the goals I thought I wanted and less happy. And so what I realized was, ironically, I was looking for a macro coach and stumbled upon a program called Hunger for Happiness, which I ended up enrolling in 400 hours, $12,000. And 10 months later, we learned what was really going on. And so it was really interesting to live it and go through it, right? And also know that we knew for our clients, like, there had to be more than what people thought was going on. And what we learned was that it's really all of the inward stuff and it's all of the deeper work is actually what people are searching for. So what we say all the time is that, like, we're a whole human approach and that no external result is ever going to give you an internal feeling, right? And I learned that for myself after 25 years of trying to have the perfect body, whatever. Like, it never had anything to do with that. And so what we've developed over the last year is what we call our SHIFT program, which is the all-encompassing human approach where we help you do all of the things so that you're actually physically, mentally, emotionally happy and content, and that you're actually understanding yourself and pulling back the layers.
Well, and it was...
Your story, sorry.
Well, no, that's perfect, right? So it's understanding you guys that... And I've done that for myself, right? Like, those that know me, like, I've been fortunate enough to be a fairly successful athlete all through my life, right? Like, I got to play sports in college. I captained the sports teams, like all these things. And as a CrossFit athlete, I got to compete 4 times at the regional level. So if you're not familiar with that, that's essentially like the semifinals of like the world of fitness. And so from the outside in, I think everyone would see of like, wow, you got this thriving business, you know, you got this amazing family, right? Like you're about to go compete to be one of the fittest human beings on the face of the earth. But at the time, looking back, my world was crumbling, right? Like everything inside me was toxic. Nothing was good enough. I compared myself to everyone else. I had to have this certain identity about myself. If I wasn't number one in the gym or the day or whatever, I would project that onto my loved ones around me. And that was basically taking away all the other elements and relationships in my life. And so yet again, from the outside in, physically, yes, I was best shape I've ever been in, right? Like could do things I never thought was possible, had all these amazing things as a business owner, but at the same time, my internal world was so toxic that it was being projected and affecting everyone else around me in a negative standpoint, right? Like we had an amazing gym, but at the same time, those that were in the gym would be like, I couldn't walk around you because it was like walking on eggshells the second you would walk in the door, right? And it was my own interpretation of whether or not I was worthy, whether or not I was good enough, because if I wasn't a good enough athlete, I didn't trust the fact that I could be a good enough coach in their eyes. And so yet again, it's using our own experiences and using the experiences that we've seen over the last 2 years with going through the challenge mentality with that you may see a lot of nowadays, and understanding that from our own experiences and from seeing it firsthand with the hundreds of clients that we worked with, there's a different way. Right? Like if it doesn't matter of what you get externally, if your internal world isn't up to the same level of what you would want it to be in order for you to receive the things that are outside yourself.
So that's been going on. We have an inner circle. We've been doing a lot of amazing work. And then last Monday hit, right? So #pivot. Guess what? Your gym's closed tomorrow. Have fun, right? So we took some deep breaths and really honestly, you guys, like we believe, and I don't want this to sound badly, but I think honestly what's happening right now in the world can be a gift to all of us if we choose to let it be, right? Like we are getting told now, slow down, stay inside, go inward. This is your chance to do the work on yourself and do the work for yourself and for your family and for everyone around you if you choose to do it, right? And so our whole take on this is like, how do we help the world pivot? And our program, ironically, is called Shift. All of our lives have shifted and will shift more tomorrow. So you get to choose, how do you want it to shift, right? Do you want to suffer or in the next 30 days, 45 days, however many days? I keep saying 30, even though I know it's not. Or do you want to make those choices? Like, do you want to do some of the work? Do you want to go inside and do you want to understand how you can actually be the best version of you? And how you can figure out like what's that feeling you've been chasing and how do we get you there, right? So we don't like challenges, but unfortunately right now we're in sort of a short term when the world opens back up and the world returns to some form. Like, so we wanted to do this for you guys. We're doing it for everybody in our gym. So if you guys are in the gym and you don't know this, it's part of your membership. It's free. We loaned out a bunch of equipment. We're doing this for all of our members because our goal is to serve, right? But if you're not part of our gym, we have a lot of people that are like, okay, I was going to a Globo gym and now I have nowhere to go. I don't actually know what I'm doing. Maybe this is a cool time to do something different. Okay. So what we've done is put together 30 days. It's just going to be a rolling start because we don't want people to be like, oh, I missed the deadline and not get in. Right. So technically we started today, but you can join anytime. But essentially all you need to do is show up and commit to yourself. Okay. We're going to teach you there's 5 pillars for us. So there's nourishment, which is actually like, how do you get your gut healthy? How do you actually nourish your body? What feels good and makes you move towards expansion, not some restrictive, crazy diet, okay? And you get to be your own science experiment. So we have a 10-day reset that's like amazingly successful for people. You get access to that just by joining, it's called Shift Happens. I think it's really funny. He doesn't. I think it's funny. I had this in like the back of my head and I'm like, oh, shift or, put in an extra letter, take out a letter. Anyway, but bands. Yes, we have bands. So anyway, Shift Happens. So you get the nourishment side. Okay, you get exercise. So we actually are doing live coaching right now twice a day. It's probably going to go to 3. We're kind of just like rolling with what people need, where we get on Zoom, we can see you, we can coach you. So if you're not already working out, if you don't know the movements, that's totally fine. We can coach you, right? And sometimes it's kind of fun from home. Like there's nothing scary. I don't know what I'm doing. People are going to watch me. No one else can really see you because they're way across the room, but we can see you, we can help you. And we know right now the biggest thing is people need connection. Like when it's like stay inside and you have 1 or 3 or 10 people, I don't know if you have a really big family, you don't have a lot of people to talk to, right? And so getting connection is a huge thing. I mean, literally, Braden coached from sitting at the desk on Saturday, and I went to the basement and got coached because it was more fun to see everybody. We know love and connection is going to be huge, and you guys need that. Even if you don't know that you need it yet, you're going to need it, okay? So live coached classes, and then we're going to go to the other parts, which is feeling, right? Like what's going on with your emotions? How do you understand them? How do you shift them? What's your relationship with them? We'll talk about your relationship with food and your body and all of that stuff.
Well, with that, you guys, we heard a sad statistic from one of our kids' teachers is within the last week, domestic violence has gone up 50%. In a week, right? Just because the amount of uncertainty that's going on in this world right now, right? Like there's a lot of underlying things, right? Like it's the same thing if you get freakishly just frantic, if you get cut off in traffic and you like lose your mind.
You can't do that now, you're not
right?
driving
Yeah, you're
anymore.
not driving anymore. But like somebody cuts you off on the sidewalk within your 6 week barrier, or 6 foot barrier. Right? Like if that's your person, trust me, I was that person, right? Like if I would lose my mind, not just for like in the moment, it would ruin my entire day. And then it wouldn't just ruin my day. I would make sure it ruined her day and then my kid's day and everyone else around me because I didn't think they thought it was a valid enough reason for me to get mad, right? So if you have those experiences, I'm talking from my own experience, there was much more underlying reasons because of that, right? Like there's so many things that we do with our own feelings, like, right? Like for a lot of us is we stifle them down, we ignore them, we push them away. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to do all this kind of things. I'm going to use this thing, not all of this to understand. And what I'm telling you for both of us, and I know for myself, is the second you start to learn to correspond and connect and communicate from this thing to this thing, it opens up your entire world to understand that those little paper cuts that are basically killing you, it's not death by boulders, it's death by pebbles that we do to ourselves. And until we do the side of coming and looking at things from a different perspective of why the hell do I do the things I do? Why do the things that upset me? And why do I take it out on the other people around me? That is what's going to open the door for you guys to experience life on so many different levels and experience it on your terms, not feeling like you need the rest of the world to align with it. Because right now, the rest of the world is probably not going to align with what you think it should be at all, right?
And I think the beauty is like right now you can take the blinders off. You can choose to take the blinders off. You can choose to come out of quote unquote quarantine in a totally different light, right? And you have more time and you have more space and you have all of those things. You just have to make a choice. Like you can be in quarantine, you can sit and you can stress and you can worry and you can try to control all the things that you can't control. Side note, if you haven't watched from last Wednesday, we did like an 1.5-hour workshop on the 6 human needs. If you haven't watched that and this intrigues you, go watch that. It's totally worth it. You need to know that. But like right now is a choice. Right now is a choice of how do you want to show up for yourself and how do you want to come out of this thing, right? And so we want to give you all of the tools to come out of this healthy and happy and understanding yourself and supported and in community and all of the things that we know you need because we know what people need. We've been doing this for 10 years, so we want to give you guys that stuff, okay? You're going to get coaching, you're going to get support, you're going to get accountability, you're going to get community, you're going to get nourishment, you're going to get exercise, you're going to get all the things that you need that maybe you were getting elsewhere that you can no longer get, okay? So we want to do that for you. We also want to give you hope on the other side of this, okay? So the hope on the other side of this is that if you do this with us and you just check in daily, we'll give you a post to check in on, or you can check in on your own Facebook. If you just do that, you're going to get 3 nights in San Diego or 3 nights in Vegas, or there's a couple other options. I don't want to make this confusing, but if you hate San Diego and you hate Vegas, there's other options. So we're in alignment with this company to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. That's all kind of a whole different story, but for us, we believe everything happens in perfect timing. So we want to give you guys something to look forward to, right? Right now, we're all sort of in a fear mode of like, when's the world going to go back to normal? We want you guys to have something to look forward to. So you can take that stay. It's not a whole trip. You have to buy your plane tickets, but you can get to that place for 3 days. So I want you guys to still envision what does life look like after this, and how do you want to feel, and how do you want to look, and how do you want to show up in this world? And so having somewhere to go is a really fun way to do that. Okay. So just by doing this, you get it to check in. You're going to get those stays. So literally like we're giving you money to get you to take care of yourself and to do some deeper work. in the next 30 to 45 days. So if you want to join us, this one's called Shift Happens. Everything obviously is online. So it's $99. You can join anytime. We started today, but start sooner than later. Grab an accountability buddy. That's a huge thing with this, is that we want you to do it with a partner. By giving to someone else and taking care of someone else and checking on someone else and having them do the same, you're going to be way more successful. Okay. So find a buddy, jump in, do it together. I promise you will be like, I'm so glad I did that, because quarantine was actually an amazing time for growth and change instead of struggle and stress.
We've been doing literally the last 3 months now. We've been doing a 10-day reset, 10 days, right? Like those that have gone through it, like if you know any of them, they'll tell you, like, you get your eyes opened up pretty wide with the amount of information that comes through. That's 10 days, right? And in the overwhelming sense of it, I would say probably 85% of those that give us feedback afterwards say that they feel lighter and they feel freer. Right? Like imagine that for yourself. What would life feel like if you, especially right now, what would life feel like for you if you could feel lighter and freer and remove all the baggage of all the other crap that we tend to hold on to ourselves and carry around? What if you could put that down and allow yourself to actually soar and see the life that you want to see, right? But I mean, that's within 10 days. Imagine what 30 days, imagine what potentially what the whole thing could turn into, right? Like imagine what you could discover and what you could open up for yourself, and also be able to come from a place of inspired action, not for most of us. And I'm talking about my own experience of living in the aspect of fear of not feeling like that I had to live by somebody else's terms because I wasn't feeling like I was good enough for myself. Right. And so for that's honestly our biggest mission with this, you guys, is this isn't just 10 days. Now we really get to open up and really get to open up some doors and walk through them, walk a path that, you know what, I never thought was possible for myself.
Yeah. So Christine, thank you. Yeah, we get that a lot. The 10 days was amazing. And we've been doing the 10 day because for a lot of people, like, we don't trust ourselves and we think we're going to fail. So 10 days sounds doable. And then they get into it and they're like, oh, I need more of that. But okay, we got to move on. We are so far over our timeline. All right, guys, second thing we have going on. A lot of you saw this today. And if you went to the site, sometimes websites aren't my favorite thing. I've become the IT department. Maybe not my best strong suit, but I'm getting there. So anyway, if you went there and it wouldn't submit your form and you got something that said, thanks for signing up, you didn't actually sign up. So go back and sign up. It works now. I don't know why. It was on like constant whatever. But we know to be true, like we talked about. One of our friends that's a teacher was talking about domestic violence. We know it's hard being home with kids. We do it all the time. It's a little more now than it was, as our oldest is usually in school. But we love young athletes. I coach both of Carson's soccer teams. Brandon grew up in the sports realm, always working with kids. We've been working with some soccer teams for the last 6 months and just seeing amazing change in those guys. And we think it's really, really, really important right now for your kids to be moving, for them not to be on screens. We know a lot of you, because we've heard this, you're like, I'm trying to get my kids to go do something and they don't want to. So we want to coach them as well. They need coaching, right? Like, let's just be honest, they need coaching. Hey, there's Lauren. She can tell you about when she started when she was 9. But go ahead.
Well, I think yet again, I know my kids, even though Courtney coaches them, are more...
They don't listen to me that well.
How many of your kids usually listen to somebody else other than you, even though it's the same exact message? I know mine do, right? And so what we want to be able to do, you guys, is be able to... Yet again, I know my kids are going stir crazy, right? Like, especially come middle of the day, they're losing their minds, they're nitpicking each other, they're fighting each other, doing little things that they know just make each other angry just so they get a response, right? And I would imagine, I know mine also do that. They do that nitpicky thing so they can get a response out of us because they want some sort of significance piece to come out of it.
They want attention because we're trying to work from home. Probably you are too. And it's hard to juggle the two. So giving your kids an outlet where they feel like they're seen and it's for them and they get to see other kids, because talk about community, they also need it. They might not understand this. Ours aren't really old enough to understand it. They need community. They need to see other kids. They want to talk. They want to joke. They want to play.
And so what we're doing, you guys, is we're going to start next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So it's going to be 3 days a week at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. There we go. Mountain Standard Time. It's going to be a half hour. Okay, so it's a short enough stint to keep them focused and not too long where they're going to be kind of riled up and just not want to do it, right? And so it's 30 minutes. It's going to include a warm-up. It's going to include a workout, and depending on the length of the workout, perhaps a cool down. And not to mention, you guys, our view is they're the next generation. They're the ones going to be running this world, right? And so for us to be able to start getting a lot of this type of mindfulness, mindset, awareness around for our kids, I think is massive, right? Because I know for me as a competitive athlete all the way through college, I wish I would have known 1% of just awareness of what I know now, because I know my athletic career probably would have ended a lot different than what it did. And my just sense and my relationships probably would have been a lot different as well, just through that time frame of my life.
So yeah, like we said, it's going to be 3 days a week, half an hour. It's going to be on Zoom, so you can log on if you feel like you want to work out and you want to do it with them. That's awesome. If you want to give them some guidance, that's great. That'll be a great time for you to have a little breather and to kind of wear them out. So we're doing ages 4 through 18. They're all going to be in their own place. So if you guys have weights and you have older kids, they can totally join in. Our goal really is to get as many kids moving again, because we know all sports are stopped, all schools, like everything's stopped for them. So let's try to give them some normalcy. So literally, guys, it's $30 a kid. If you are in financial hardship, hi Sarah. If you are in financial hardship, reach out to us. We'll work something out with you. We truly want to get these kids moving and help you guys stay sane and have everybody just feel good at the end of this. So if you have kids and you know they want to do it, please have them do it. If you can share this, right? We have a reach, but you guys have more reach than we do. So honestly, for any of these programs, if you guys can just share them, we'll do referral bonuses, like whatever. Again, we're just trying to get this message to as many people as possible. So if you're a teacher, if you know teachers, if you know coaches, share this with them. Send them our contact, whatever. We want to help you guys. So if you have kids that want to do it and you want to do the adult program, reach out. We'll work something out with you guys. We just want to see all your lovely faces every day, because that makes us really happy too. So we'll post both of those links. This was so much longer than it was supposed to be. I was literally like falling asleep before I sat down. But anyway, we love you guys. We appreciate you. So Shift Happens is the adult program that covers all of the things. We called it Kids Surge. Hi, Amber. Kids and Teens Surge 30. That's hard to say. Surge 30.
Surge 30. Not really.
Okay, I'm really tired. All right, but we'll post those links. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Let us know what questions you have, and hopefully we'll be seeing you very soon in Zoom. And thanks as always for being on, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, bye guys.